An emphatic 4-0 win by Arsenal. This was decisive and a statement performance from Arsenal. This game taking place at the Emirates Stadium, with the narrative coming into the game as haram football. The game was going to be a boring game. Probably 0-0, 1-0 win for either Atletico or Arsenal. Or were we wrong? This was an emphatic performance from the Arsenal, which ended 4-0. Let's get into it. Let's not get anything wrong about this. Atletico Madrid came into this game in a fairly strong form, having won 3 out of their last 4 matches. With their last win being against Osasuna at home, being then 1-0. A fairly convincing win, if you want to play it like that. But they came into this game in strong form. Arsenal also came into this game in strong form, having not lost a game in the league since their last loss against Liverpool, beating West Ham and beating Fulham away, with 2 teams that they have been beaten in the past 2 seasons. But this game was set up nicely. Dare I say, this result will shift any sort of perspective anyone around the world have on Arsenal. Point blank, to be said, Arsenal are not just good domestically, but they are to be taken seriously in Europe as well. So let's look into the first 45 minutes. The first 45 minutes was fairly balanced. Neither team had dominance in the game, but there were moments in this game with Arsenal hitting the post through Eze, a few snap chances in the first half, but nothing actually yielded any sort of goal. Atletico Madrid also had moments with Julian Alvarez hitting the post with a nice shot from the left hand side. I think that is his trademark shot right there on the left hand side, hitting the ladder crossbar. Raya was nowhere near it, and then came into the second half. One thing I wanted to point out in terms of the tactical approach by Arsenal actually pressed well, looked very dangerous when advancing, but they needed a kickstart, which came in the second half. Atletico also defended mostly well until Arsenal's breakthrough. The major turning point of the game came in the second half, in the 57th minute, when Arsenal's Gabriel Magalhaes headed in from a free kick, straight from Declan Rice's foot. That guy is taking free kicks like he's Beckham now. Taking set pieces and free kicks like he's Beckham now. It's like, it's inevitable that whenever there's a set piece from Arsenal and Declan Rice is on the ball, it's going to be a goal. And from that point onwards, I think Atletico Madrid did not know what hit them. If you had a look at Diego Simeone on the sideline for Atletico Madrid, he did not know what hit them. Where it is obviously his custom-made all-out black suit, he looked lost, and his team looked lost on the pitch also. And from that point onwards, it was an explosion from Arsenal with a goal from Gabriel Martinelli. And then literally straight afterwards, Victor Gyökeres scored the 67th and 70th minute, making it 4 goals in 13 minutes. Yes, 4 goals in 13 minutes. One thing that I would need to point out is that the narrative coming to the game, as in the game was going to be boring, with both teams going to be playing defensive style football. I don't think anyone has been watching Atletico Madrid for the past 2-3 seasons, because they are not the same defensive team that they were in their pump. They do not play that type of football anymore. So for the narrative to be that both teams were going to play a bit defensive and the score is probably going to be like a low score, that was not wrong. But one thing I'm going to say is Atletico could not absorb the best of Arsenal's quality when that explosion came about. Now let's look at the key players and moments of the game. Gabriel Magalhaes, I believe, was the man of the match in this game. I don't care if Victor Gyökeres scored 2 goals. Gabriel got a goal and an assist, and he defended well. Gabriel Martinelli's goal, my word. You know what? Let's talk about Miles Lewis-Kelly. That run. You know what? Everyone... I think most Arsenal fans have been calling for him to get some sort of game time. But let's not get it twisted. Ricardo Calafiori has been one of Arsenal's best players in the league this season. Okay, not in the league alone, but in the league and Champions League so far this season. So it was a bit harsh on Miles Lewis-Kelly not to get a bit of game time. But in the game against Atletico Madrid, he showed why he should be starting. And he's definitely going to be giving Mikel Arteta a headache right now. Because Miles Lewis-Kelly, obviously we know Arsenal's left back always play inverted. But he plays that sort of position differently to Ricardo Califori. But Lewis Kelly showed why he is, by trade, he is a midfielder. He got a ball on a half-10 in the midfield, took on 3-2 players, driving the ball in the heart of Atletico Madrid's back four, through their midfield, having the ability to lay off the ball, whereby Martinelli did not have to break stride. And that was a Henry X finish from Gabriel Martinelli, who has been very impressive in the Champions League so far this season for Arsenal. I think he has 3 goals in 3 games for Arsenal in the Champions League. And he looks like a different player this season so far. Right now, Arsenal fans and whoever watch football know that Martinelli is not the touchline winger that Arsenal been trying to have him do, or that play that sort of way. Running in behind, having space. And I think the Champions League is actually suiting his game, because in the Champions League, teams are coming to win or actually play. In the Atletico Madrid's case yesterday, they didn't really come out to express themselves. But in the Champions League, you do have space to actually attack teams, which benefits him. And he took his goal nicely. Let's speak about Vitor Gyökeres. Vitor Gyökeres finally broke his duck with a bit of a sloppy goal. But hey, he would take that. But then 3 minutes later, he scored that second goal, which is a striker's goal. A corner from Arsenal, Gabriel Magalhaes headed back into the danger area and he followed in. That's a striker's goal. I'm hoping that is giving him the confidence to now kick on in the Premier League as well. You broke your duck, bro. This is the time. Show us exactly why we bought you. You know what I mean? I've been one of the people that been saying we need to give Gyökeres time. I can see his game has improved. I'm not sure what sort of game people are watching, or what sort of player people think he is. But Gyökeres has actually improved his gameplay, all around gameplay. In fact, his link-up play has actually improved since the games have been coming. And bear in mind, he's been playing every game. He's our only striker left right now. Well, we know Moreno can play there, but he's he's the only out and out striker we have right now. And I believe he's doing well. All he needs is the goals that will shut up the haters. That is it. And then let's look at Declan Rice. My word, this guy's set pieces ability that I'm talking about. Again, like I said in my other reviews, if you do not stop Arsenal from scoring from set pieces. No one cares, bro. Regardless of how the goals go in, no one cares. And one thing, Declan Rice's ability to deliver the ball on the sixpence will continue to be a weapon for Arsenal, regardless. So if a team is going to come to sit back and absorb the pressure and try to block us from going through the middle, you're bound to give away a set piece, bound to give away a corner, and you better defend well. If not, more or less, we'll end up a goal. One thing I wanted to point out is I was actually annoyed. Why? Because Arsenal gave away a shot on target. That would have been 3 games in a row Arsenal have not given away a shot on target. Do you know how crazy that would have been? Atletico Madrid had 1 shot on target yesterday. A shot on target yesterday for a team of that quality. They just bring us down to how Mikel Arteta has set up Arsenal. His side to defend properly from the front to the back. Gyökeres pressing, with both our wingers working hard to tuck in. For our 2 midfielders working hard to break up the play or protecting the back 2. Our left back, right back, solid. The 2 centre backs too, making sure not to give anything away. Even though Raya was a bit shaky in the first half, I believe he gave away nearly a chance that Alvarez nearly scored. That is what we're going to have to cut out, but Arsenal defensively are solid. And dare I say Arsenal have not conceded a goal in the Champions League this season. 3 games. I believe 9 goals, 0 goals conceded. If we carry on like this, I think the minimum target should be the semi-finals again in the Champions League. I'm not trying to get ahead of myself, but minimum target is the Champions League. It's semi-final. Now, what does this win also mean, again, for Arsenal? Like I mentioned before, I think this victory will send a message to anyone in Europe or any team in Europe. Arsenal will not be an easy team to face this season. Because trying to get out of this Arsenal back four alone is a tall task. And I believe Arsenal are challenging both domestically and in Europe as well. Improving in the group right now with 9 points in 3 games, there's not much you can actually ask from them. Atletico Madrid, with this, they need to wake up, especially in Europe. Despite their form coming into the game, this actually exposed any sort of vulnerabilities they basically had. And they barely had a shot on target yesterday against Arsenal. So they definitely need to wake up. And going forward now, one thing we need as Arsenal fans, we need Gyökeres to do. Scoring those 2 goals, we want him to take that confidence forward. We need him to build on it now. Because all we need is consistency from him. And one thing also that I'm going to point out, Arsenal will continue to use set pieces to exploit teams if they do not buckle up and try and find a way to defend these. And do not get it twisted. Arsenal always use different sort of set piece routines. I know it's going to be a bit of a difficulty to defend them. I think the one team that have defended them well this season was Man City. When we faced Man City and when we faced Newcastle as well, where even though we did actually end up scoring the winning goal, the set piece. But teams are going to have to find a way to get around this, because if not, Arsenal will use it as a weapon. Game in, game out. My other question is, can Arsenal continue to keep clean sheets? Because this is the 3rd clean sheet in the Champions League. And I believe they've kept 2 clean sheets before this Champions League game. I wonder how many clean sheets Raya actually has in the league. I believe 5, probably. I might be wrong. But if Arsenal continue to keep clean sheets, hey, it's going to be a tall tax for any team. The only team I fear the most is PSG, who I'll cover in my next video. That is the only team I fear. I don't want to think about them because it might give you nightmares. But yeah, like to summarize, Arsenal in fact take 4-0 win, putting everyone in Europe on notice that there's going to be a long season when you're facing Arsenal in Europe or in domestic football. All we need now is to keep the momentum going. Game in, game out. Take one game at a time. Arsenal fans, I'm begging you, let's not get ahead of ourselves that we're going to win the double, the big double, Premier League or Champions League. Let's take it one game at a time. And to call Mikel Arteta after the game, a big win against a big opponent. And that's all it is. A big win against a big opponent. Nothing else. Nothing more, nothing less. All we need to take this momentum into every game going forward now.
Take the yards!